Hello everyone, Tyson Brando with Remax Escarpment, the Brando Group here.
And I'm Tanya DeNicolantonio.
Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk to you about current market conditions. Everyone right now is talking about what's going on in the marketplace with prices, with interest rates, with the number of listings on the market. So that is what we're going to talk about.
The activity is definitely down. We know that it's down because we can feel it when we're out there with buyers every day. But working for Remax, we have a bit of an advantage because the statistics that come out of the brokerage reflect the state of the market. We have enough of a market share that what's going on at Remax is what's going on in the market in general.
Yeah, exactly. The fall market, typically we look to another peak in activity, another peak in prices after a little bit of a slower summer. This year that pretty much didn't happen. What happened was in September, we just saw a spike of listings with a trailing off of sales, and that has increased our inventory levels substantially.
It has, and some of the statistics that we've got, it's mid-October as we film this. Some of the statistics we got from Remax, from our appointment center, is that there has been a 15% drop in appointments since the same period in October last year. Yeah. So 2022, there were 15% more appointments booked, and buyers are taking longer. They're seeing more houses before buying something. We call that the appointment to sold ratio. The appointment to sold ratio is going in favor of buyers, just lingering a little bit. They're spending a bit more time before making a decision. So it has slowed down.
Yeah, and that's partially because we haven't seen this number of listings since 2018. For the last 5 years, we've seen much lower inventory. Now we're back up to over 2,200 active listings just in the Hamilton surrounding area versus when we were on our lowest, we had maybe like 400.
Which is great news for buyers.
Great news for buyers. So we've probably heard us talking about it before, the months of inventory. So how many months would it take if no new listings came on the market with the current level of buyer activity? And we are at slightly over 4 months, which puts us into a balanced market. It's no longer a seller's market. There might be certain very unique areas that are still more desirable and maybe pulling in a little bit more interest, but overall, it's a pretty equal playing field now.
Which, for perspective, in the height of the seller's market, there were times when we had less than a month's supply.
Yeah, I think we got down to like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
2.5 weeks. So there was nothing to choose from. Incredible environment. You had a good illustration that I liked about kind of a way to explain the market that we're in now.
Yeah, I compare this because thinking back to our first house, we were in a market that was way worse than this one when we sold that, and it was tough to be a seller. But this, what we're experiencing now, is balance. And it's a little bit like when you're driving on the highway and you're at 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers an hour, and you get off at your exit and you have to adjust and you have to fall down to 50, 60 kilometers an hour. You feel like you're crawling. You're not. You're driving the speed limit, and that's a normal speed on that road. But when you just come off the highway, it takes a little while to adjust the way you feel. So your perception of things. Yeah. So that's a little bit what sellers are going through right now. Buyers are celebrating because they finally have some options, but to have to readjust to not selling your house like that is hard.
This is not a prepare your house showings for a week and just picking a slew of offers. This is now putting your house on the market, still putting your best foot forward for sure, but now more than ever you kind of need to give yourself the edge on how your home presents, whether from staging, fixes, and all of that, so that you stand out, but also being more patient
and realistic, and remembering that this is much more normal than what was happening not so long ago. This is balance. This is what balance feels like.
Yeah. Another big thing that's playing into this whole thing, obviously, is interest rates. Although buyers are celebrating, yes, that I have houses I can choose from, they're still battling with those rates and pre-qualification levels. Affordability. I heard just the other day that Scotia's rates, their 5-year fixed and TD is like anywhere between 6.3 and 6.45 for a 5-year fixed rate. And even though that's the rate you're going to get, the stress test is still here. So you still need, as a buyer, to pre-qualify at almost 8.5%.
Which is a shock to the system after the low rates we got used to.
Exactly, right? So back in the day when you say you had a family income of $100,000, that automatically qualified you for a $500,000, $550,000 mortgage, no problem. Now it's drastically different.
But to think long term is really important because these rates are not forever. And if you take advantage as a buyer of the purchase price being low and you can stick it out and hang in until those rates come back down, you will have bought a house for a cheaper price and you will eventually get your lower interest rate and you can lock in and really start to pay down that mortgage.
Exactly. And the nice thing is that a few things are less. Not only is the purchase price of the home less, but your down payment's less.
That's true.
Your land transfer tax is less. So there's other things that, although you may not be able to buy as high or buy exactly the home you want, but you do have a bit of an opportunity to save on the upfront costs of getting into the house. So where the market will go in the next couple months, we will see. I think a lot of it will hinge on the Bank of Canada's approach. October 25th is the next time that an announcement will be made, whether or not they're going to keep the rates the same.
And we learned through this process not to try to predict what they're going to do because it's always a 50-50 chance. Are they going up or are they staying the same? For now, we know the one thing they're not going to do is drop them just yet.
No. Personally, in my opinion, I think they're going to hold this one.
Yeah.
This is what I'm predicting. I don't know about the next announcement, the end of the year, but I think this time, I think they're going to hold. I don't know how you feel about that.
All right, we'll talk to you October 26th. I'm not making a prediction because I'm wrong every time.
So you just think like, yes, they're going to raise them, and if you're wrong, it's a good news story.
Absolutely. I'm never so happy to be wrong.
So that is all we have for a market update. If you have any other questions, we're always happy to answer them. And in our description, you'll find a link to our Calendly where you can set up a time, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or do both. If you want to have a phone conversation or meet with us in person, we'd be happy to do that. Feel free to set that up, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye for now.